Hey folks, PC Outcast here, and this time I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the games I'm looking forward to in 2016. All these things could change as new games are released or announced. There are quite a few that are supposed to be coming out possibly, but haven't been announced yet. And of course, if like Bethesda announced at E3 that TES 6 is coming out this year, that will jump right to the top of the list. But anyway, starting with, well, we're going to be going in chronological order. So this is not a list of, from best to worst. It's just in time. So number one, we got Far Harbor. Technically not a game. It's actually a DLC. That's coming out May 19th. It's potentially the last DLC for Fallout 4. So once that comes out, I'm probably going to play through the game again and try and do some of the things that I didn't do in the previous playthroughs and stuff, and that will most likely be the last time I play through Fallout 4. Unfortunately, it just doesn't have the staying power of Skyrim for me. So yeah, we'll see about that. It depends on whether I try any other builds. If I do another build or two or something, I might play through it again, but yeah. That might be my last playthrough of that game. Number two, we've got Blood and Wine, which is another DLC, this time for Witcher 3. That's expected to come out May 31st. That is it's also the last DLC for the game. And Witcher 3 was just a glorious game, as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was practically perfect in every way. The only problem with it is, even though it's really good, I don't plan on playing it through again after this. Like, once the DLC comes out, I haven't played it since any of the DLCs came out. I played it like just straight vanilla. And so now after this comes out, I'll play it through one more time. And then to me, it's the kind of game you only go back and maybe play it, once in 2 or 3 years or something like that. So basically, I'm not playing that for different reasons for not replaying Fallout 4 over and over again. Number 3 is No Man's Sky, which is set for release June 21st. And No Man's Sky is an incredibly ambitious game and looks really, really intriguing. I'm more interested in it to see if they actually pull it off than I am in the actual game. I just I'm like so rooting for them that they went so big as to try to create a game that is like an entire universe. It's just, I really, really hope they pull it off and it turns out to be a great game. Number 4 is Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which is slated for August 23rd. And that game is being sold big time as like a return to the original Deus Ex, which if it turns out to be that, it's going to be freaking awesome. I've played all the Deus Exes except for The Fall, which got just horrific reviews for the PC version. But all the other games have been pretty good. The only problem really with the second one, Invisible War, is that they put no effort into bringing the control scheme over to the PC port. Like they just basically gave you the console controls and that was it. So I actually have heard that some people just decided to plug in their controller and play it like that on the PC anyway, which I never did because I don't actually own a controller. But I mean, I found it was a bit awkward compared to the original Deus Ex, which was designed for PC. But I managed to play the game anyway. Yeah, that was a good one. I liked that, and I'm really looking forward to Mankind Divided. I hope it turns out as good as it looks. Number 5, we got Dishonored 2, which is set for release November 11th, which we just actually got word about that coming out. That's the date. Believe it or not, I only played Dishonored this year, like a few months ago. And I actually do plan on streaming some more of that, as I have been doing over the last month or so. And yeah, Dishonored is a great game. So Dishonored 2, if it turns out to be as, you know, as good, I mean, it looks great, and it looks very similar to Dishonored. Actually, some of the powers that Emily gets reminds me of another game that I can't remember right now. Anyway, yeah, it was another game that was really cool that had similar powers. Right, so we'll just forget about that. The other two games don't actually have release dates yet, but they are Mountain Blade 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance. Both are supposed to come out this year. Mountain Blade 2 is expected for the third quarter, so probably in the fall. And Kingdom Come, I think, is supposed to come out towards holiday time. Both of them look kind of similar to me, like the graphics and the setting are very comparable. Mountain Blade will probably be very, very mod friendly, as the previous game was, and previous game and expansion. And I actually have not played Mountain Blade, the original, or Warband. I've watched some people playing it on YouTube, but that's about it. It looks cool. It might be. I'm wondering if it is maybe not a bit too old for me to get into now, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. It looks pretty cool. And Kingdom Come Deliverance also looks really cool. It looks a little bit. It's very reminiscent of Oblivion, like the setting of Oblivion, except it's not fantasy, of course. It's being sold big time as a non-fantasy RPG. I think they're really, really pushing the combat system, which in the videos I've seen of people doing it, to me it looks a little clunky, but I hope that it's going to turn out good, and that it'll be another really cool game. Those two games in particular have a strong possibility of sort of replacing Skyrim for me this year. So we'll see how they turn out. I might end up, going and doing quite a bit of playthroughs of those games, potentially, if they turn out good. And that is it. There's a couple other games I'm kind of interested in. Stellaris, which actually just came out, which is a completely different type of game than what I usually play on my channel. And Divinity Original Sin 2 also looks cool. I actually just got Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, and I've been playing it a little bit offline. And but that looks pretty cool too. Very, very in-depth, complicated RPG. Holy cow. Yeah. Anyway, those are my picks. Some of the games that I'm looking forward to. Of course, anything else that comes out could potentially displace those or be added to the list anyway. And yeah, please share your comments. Let me know any other games that you're looking forward to. Of course, these are all like major releases that are probably coming out. Another one that might be coming out this year is Cyberpunk 2077, which also is probably going to be great because it's from the people that made Witcher 3. Of course, with Witcher 3, they already had the universe that they just had to build a story into. With Cyberpunk, they're creating a whole universe. So we'll see how that turns out, if it's as big, as successful as Witcher 3. That'll be interesting too. But please share in the comments any games that you're looking forward to. I haven't even mentioned the possibility of, there's just so many independent games as well. 10, 20, 30 of them being released like every week. So there's a possibility some other smaller games will come out along the way that I have not heard anything about yet. So there you go. We'll see you in the next episode, or the next video.